So Ademola, please can you start? Can you use like can you take 1 or 2 minutes to share your thoughts about this question?
Yeah, you said that in a world where there's a lot of AI being used, um,
Yes.
how can brands differentiate and stay connect with their brands and their customers? Right?
So,
That's the question.
I said, let me repeat my question. Sorry. So I said, in today's rapidly evolving landscape where AI and human creativity intersect, what do you believe is the most underutilized opportunity for brands to connect authentically with their target audience?
Or thank you. Everybody can hear me clearly. Um, so
Yes,
I think that the
okay.
most important thing that's all right. I think the most important thing that I like to remind people about in this conversation is that AI is a tool, and tools are amplifiers. They are supposed to make things better, or they are, they are supposed to help you get things done. Tools are supposed to improve productivity, efficiency, and the kind of results that you get. It doesn't replace anything. For example, pick your Google Calendar, for example. Google Calendar hasn't replaced things happening in your life, right? What Google Calendar has been able to help you do is to organize your time better. You still have the same 24 hours. You still have the same tools that are available on that platform. You can set up meetings, you can take notes on meetings and all of those things, but it doesn't replace time. It's the same concept with AI. It doesn't matter how big it gets. I think that we human beings are giving artificial intelligence more credit that's than it is required. Because we even forget that the artificial intelligence itself was created by human beings. And as it will keep evolving as a concept, human beings are still at the forefront of those evolution. So for brands that want to stay connected in a world where there's rapid AI use, they need to remember that the point still stands. People want to connect with real people. They want to connect with real life. So a lot of us live in our homes. A lot of people haven't touched grass in a while. If I ask how many people are on this call have actually like today or this holiday that we've had not going to work, how many people have done something that doesn't involve their home? It won't be shocking to hear that a lot of people haven't like done any activity that doesn't involve their sleeping, stuff is what we really want, and technology is not going to change that. AI is not going to change that. As a matter of fact, I think that what is going to happen is that AI is going to expand and help us truly understand how important the need for real life connection, real person-person interaction is going to help us to really understand it. Because imagine an utopian world where every technology is at its imagine 50 years from now or 100 years from now, and we don't even have cars that drive on the land anymore. Cars are flying. Lagos is the artificial intelligence world. Houses are in the skies. We don't need to buy land, So like everybody is well to do. In all of those things, you will still see, if you watch movies like that, you will see that people just really want to touch grass. People just really want to connect, and AI is never going to be able to take that away. Also, another thing I would say to wrap up this point is that we are the ones that understand the most human beings. We understand psychology. Or an artificial intelligence tool is only the data, the source of the data is to help me create a something plan. So help me do so. What AI is doing, what ChatGPT is doing, is it's going to pull data from all the people that have done that type of thing before and find you the template that works for you based on the conversation that you had with it. But the source of data is still people. And that's still the same thing that AI and technology is going to help also understand for storytelling. who still wants them. People are the source of every data. People is drawing sources, information and data points from people, and then is not able to feed you the kind of information that you want. So more than anything, this is the time for creativity because all of us are using the same tools. We are using the same AI tools, whether free or paid version. So similarly, recently we've seen that people are doing the same type of brand stuff. Brands are doing the same type of writing. Brands are doing the same type of storytelling because everybody's feeding their data into one source of data point. But what differentiates brands from each other is the heart of the story that they're telling, which is the humanity. Let us do, this AI tool has told us to tell this type of stories. How can we tell it as human beings? How can we tell it to human beings? More than anything, our going to be needed the most in a world where AI and technology is driving most of things. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Adebola. That was quite insightful. And I think one of the things I was able to get from your discussion was that the source of data is still people. And at the end of the day, we still need people to feed AI this information that we are looking for. Right. So I'm going to move on to Mr. Larry. Right. So it's still based on this general question that we're talking about. So I want to hear your part. I want to hear and Yuma. So can you please give us an insight about this and share your knowledge about this particular question?
Okay. Can you hear me? All right. Good afternoon. I didn't want to start my session by being controversial, agreeable. But there are tons of things that I think about differently from Debara's submission. From um, how AI is shaping our world, how AI, but not just AI, technology tools are significantly replacing human beings, um, and how we can maybe disagree, maybe fight it, but the facts are actually in our faces. I'll be happy to have maybe some good debate about that. But let me speak to the question you asked. I mean, we're talking about opportunities in an AI-led world. I would think there are maybe two or three things. We may not be ready for it, but not just AI. Many people will be replaced in an AI-led world. Just 2 days ago, Bill Gates said that almost all doctors and teachers will be replaced. It was a pronouncement he made, and then there was a lot of argument. People were saying, no, and that are made. People think that all the AI is talking about is tools like ChatGPT and Gemini. But the truth is, I run a small startup today. We are building a solution for a Canadian dental chain. This solution is going to be an end-to-end dental management platform. And this dental chain will typically need anything between 4 to 6 dentists per outlet. Because of this platform, they're going to reduce that to 4 dentists per outlet. So just think about that. We're building a tool that will automatically reduce their dependence by almost 33%. Just think about it. It's happening everywhere. It's happening. And yeah, that's not my question. But let me go back to the question. The question is, in an AI-led world where there's a fusion, like you said, between tech and people, what are the opportunities for very effective, meaningful storytelling? I'll say the first one is personalization, right? One of the biggest disadvantage of AI is it platformizes. It assumes that all of us are the same. And how AI can help call people as okay, it's two kids as twins, even if they are Siamese twins, they have two heads, but they are joined together with some of their organs. They are people. And if you know the real meaning of people or person, if you break it down, it comes to personality. We have different personalities, right? And so even though I'm wearing, I don't know the color of what I'm wearing now, if we had another guy who was like myself, the same size and shape and age, he may want the same tall and personalization. Thank you. Okay, so that's one. The second one that I'm going to talk about, and I'm just going to keep short, is what I mean by genuine interaction, and that's why I completely agree with Debola's submission, right? For many people, they just assume that platforms and technology equates automation. Okay. And so automation equates efficiency. So they're only thinking about scale. It's like somebody who runs a small business, but who uses social media. And the only thing they do is they generate posts from AI and then they post or they schedule all their posts. Okay. I mean, schedule post was good by design, but I mean, imagine if you schedule posts all through the week or all through the month, you're already sure that there was going to be what's it called? Um, Easter today. So you are posting Happy Easter, and that's good. But imagine if you were offering a service that targeted Christians, but not just Christian, Catholic Christians, and then the Pope, the most important human being in the world, died today in their world. Now, as somebody who is leveraging tech, you would have scheduled the post. But today, the most important thing to Catholics all over the world is that their Pope died. And so the authenticity in messaging, the personalization and contextualization of messaging is what allows people to win because they think you are genuine. You're not just saying Baraka Salah or Happy Easter, but there's genuine connections because in a world where everybody is scheduling and automating and planning and just scaling and getting content here and putting there, I think that if you really want to tell a story, it has to be some bit of genuine contextual and of course some personalization in the story. I think I'll just stop there so that I allow others to speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Larry. And I was able to get, you said you were going to mention three, but I was able to get personalization, genuine connection, and that's just the two. But I'm sure we will talk more about it later as we dive in deeper into this conversation. So, Mr. Balaji tonight, so I'm going to want to hear your take on this particular discussion.
So, I mean, after these emeritus have said those two things, I mean, what else I want? What else I want to have here? Well, it's true. For me, I'll just summarize. There's no need for me to do another take. I actually believe that both submissions are valid. Yes, we can have one or two debates about whether he has taken over women's or he's not taking over women's. But the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, one of the key things that I know, and I think Debola mentioned it also, is the fact that AI is an amplifier, or what I would even say in Y Finite, we tell our clients technology is an amplifier or an enabler. So the same way Facebook came at some point, social media came at some point, same way all these other, even just having a laptop at some point was all over desktop and everything. So these things they will come as strengths to help us build more, to help us scale better, and AI is here now. Before you know it, maybe BZ will come tomorrow, right? And to be a tool for enabling us to do better. So for me, my take is the fact that it's an amplifier. The opportunities are there, but very important for me, and that will be my final take on this, is the fact that is an opportunity. There's an opportunity for co-creation that AI would give anybody that decide to use it. I personally am not a fan of AI. I'm one of the laggards, if not for the work that I do, I'm forced to use it. But personally, I don't, when I have a brief, I don't go to AI first. first of all. I want to think of a brief from a human point of view first. How, because every day you can't compare it, when you have a brief to solve a problem, there's the meat in the matter. There's a motivation for every human. What is driving why they do what they do? So I try to drill down that insight. Then once I'm able to try to be comfortable with whatever solution or probably the insight I have, then I can now use AI. And I tell my team members, don't always come to me with AI solutions. I will know because most often than not, AI will give you general stuff, right? But that would be my tell me to stop already.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bolaji tonight. That was also insightful because at the end of the day, human being matters and emotions matter when it comes to decision making because it's emotion that actually drive action. So I'm going to go deeper and I'm going to start with Adebola again. So this question is for you. So I know you're really big on tech and SaaS. So most of these businesses usually focus on features and benefits. So, what storytelling framework do you recommend to shift the conversation towards human impact without losing technical credibility? Adebola, please, can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I think I've worked in tech for a while now, and the same thing I tell every founder is people don't really care for your technology. First of all, the average person does not even understand the technology of things. Like I always ask people, for example, they make transfer every other day. Do you even understand the technology of it works? Like, just tell me how money moves from your GT bank, for example, to somebody what's it called? Access Bank or any of these other banks available. Like the average customer doesn't understand, doesn't know, and to be honest, doesn't care for the technology that you use in your business. What they care about is I want to move my money. I want to do this and do. That's what they care about. And I think that founders, when they're building and product managers, especially all those guys, they get stopped up in the features of the products. Oh, and we are running it with chemical points, 0 point. Your users, end user don't give a damn about those things. Does it work? Am I happy with the experience? Am I happy with how the thing worked? When I had an issue, how did your brand take care of my complaints? Did they listen to me? Did they make my life better? Impact is what I think a lot of founders need to focus on, a lot of companies need to focus on. Unless you are in a particular field where it is tech based, like everything there is very technical. But if you're serving customers, especially if you are B2C, what customers really care about is the impact. This your product that you say is a something technology product. How has it helped improve somebody's life? So they want to people like testimonials, especially they want to see somebody talking about how they use your product for a period of time or to achieve an end result. So I think that people need to focus on the end result. If you say you have a technology that can improve my health as a young woman living in Lagos, don't tell me that it can track my period. Don't tell me that it can track my other phases of my cycle. And don't just show me somebody that looks like me that has used it. And that's why UGC is a big thing in marketing now. You see a lot of, I don't think there's any tech company that is serious, especially serving customers like B2C, that is currently not running UGC. There's always a continuous UGC campaign that a lot of people are consistently running because people are on social media. Nobody's Googling what are the girls using to do this or what are my mates using to do this. It's on social media that they are finding out that, oh, people are saving on piggy banks or people are using to save their travel plans because you can save in dollars, and so it makes sense for you at the end of the day. It's on social media that people are finding this thing out, because that information is not even available on Google. So a lot of brands need to focus on the impact that your products bring. And that doesn't water down your technology at all. Because like I said earlier, what people need to know, what people want to know is how does this product improve my life? How does it do the thing that is supposed to be done? And if you have tried impact storytelling and it's not working, you're probably doing it wrong. You're probably still putting, there's a way you can do impact storytelling, but you're still putting the technology in front. I don't know if you have seen those type of stuff before. They want to tell you that this is how this technology has changed somebody's life, but it's still about the technology. You have to make it about the people and then about the impact. That's the only way that your average customer is going to understand what you're saying. Even for B2B technology, like if you are selling APIs, for example, and they're selling it to businesses, right? People, the decision makers, mm, they care about the technology, but one of the things that will get you into the door, are able to help you to increase your lead rate, is for them to just see how your product works in real life. Beyond all the technology, oh yes, we provide this, we do this technical thing, and then you can put on the platform this. Bring somebody or five people that has credible product to do one, two, three things in their own business, and how it has now improved their bottom line, how it has improved, maybe increased cost efficiency, how it has helped what's it called, productivity in the company, how it has just elevated their lives. If you show that, you're able to get into the door for them to now listen to you as to what the rest of the technology is. So focus on impact storytelling, how people's lives have positively been impacted with the products. All other grounds taken aside. That that's what I'm going to say.
Thank you so much, Adebola. That was really insightful, and I'm sure that others can also learn that you have to be able to tell the human story, or human part of the success story of your brand itself. Because people have also used your product. How did it help them, right? So people can also connect with people and also be able to relate with people. So I think my next question goes to Mr. Larry, right? So, what storytelling capabilities have you seen AI developed that have surprised you as someone that is deeply immersed in the technology, right? So Debula have mentioned that it's some tech brands or most of the tech brands have not really been able to create that impact story. But I believe that AI can also I believe that AI can assist in this place where I mean there are some things that we cannot do because of maybe budget or their so what is that's even surprised you?
Um, I think maybe the way to answer that is what storytelling capabilities does AI not have now? Um, so right now we're building an AI powered or we're collaborating with Ebony Live Studios to build full-fledged AI powered filmmaking platform. That platform is going to do things like script writing, it's going to do things like video editing and visual effects. It's going to do audio assistance and the likes. I mean, what more can't it do? Just yesterday, 2 days ago, we're building another platform. Sorry, I'm talking so much about all this, but it sort of captures the best response to what you're saying. We're building an LMS for a college out of Canada. This platform is going to first is going to create additional content from existing content. We call it synthetic content. As a matter of fact, I think about 4 months ago, Elon Musk says that all the data in the world has been exhausted, and that's interesting, right? Because just as we're talking now, we're creating new data points. I think it was in 2010 that this whole idea of data being the new gold started. Okay. or sorry, data being the new oil. Before 2010, oil was pretty expensive. It was about $130, and everybody was making a lot of money. And then in 2010, the whole idea around the value of data started. Okay. And then everybody's saying that data is the new oil. I mean, today, what we call data is digital dust because everything is data from one side of the screen. How many times you move, and I can count that across 3 or 4.
Hello,
You
Mr.
lost
Nori. Can you hear us? We lost him.
Whoa,
Okay.
can you
Can
hear me now?
it.
Yes, we can hear you now. We lost you for a while.
Yeah. What I really meant, or what I was trying to refer to, was Elon Musk's statement in January this year, I think, where he said that all the data in this world have been exhausted, that the new data point that everybody is using to train are actually synthetic data, right? Now, storytelling capability. So I was talking about this platform that we're building. It's a learning management platform. It's going to create synthetic content from actual content. But what's even more powerful is that as students are learning, you can just tell the platform that basically translate what you're learning into visuals, not just video, into visuals, into illustration visuals. So today, AI can do those things. I mean, last month, March, I was talking to somebody, okay, and was talking about this storytelling thing they want to do by using African style models to communicate African style brands. I mean, it makes sense. All of us have been in marketing for a while where we know that there's no authenticity in the African story because you can't even find African model. If you want to use African model, you have to use a Black American. It's facial features, it's looks. If it's pictures, it doesn't really tell the story. If it's video, it's even worse. You have to use our own models. Today, you need to see what AI is doing with respect to pictures, with respect to videos, with respect to audio. Before, when AI was creating audio, there were no Nigerian accents. You need to see what AI is doing. So if you're asking about capabilities, I swear our lives have changed. I know because, I mean, the heavens are not falling down, rapture is not happening, people are not disappearing. So it looked to us like 2025 is the same like 2020, or like yesterday is the same like today. But we only need to pay attention. Okay? Tell a small story. Think about COVID and its attendant consequences. I mean, people talk about, oh, it's technology, it's technology. Think about COVID. In my company today, my staff only come to the office once a week. In a whole month, they only come 4 times. Think about if they are needed to come to the office 20 times or 22 times a month. Think about the transport they would have needed. Think about the food they would have needed in the office. Think about the infrastructure they would have needed. Just think about that. So are you saying technology has not replaced all those? I mean, when I was at InterSwitch, we used to, I mean, InterSwitch used to give us lunch, right? And there were companies who provide it's going to be challenging to keep up and compete with AI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Larry. And it's interesting to see that there is a powerful tool that is being created to create content. And that brings me to Mr. Tunde. Right. So, Mr. Tunde, this question is for you. So, Mr. Larry has talked about how the capabilities of AI in terms of storytelling. With AI powered tools, video creation tools becoming more accessible, how do you see this affecting cinema storytelling for African brands? Does it democratize the creation or present new challenges?
Hey, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Debola and BJ, for those insightful thoughts. Personally, every time I hear about AI or get to learn more about AI, there is this unspoken fear that always sets in. And I mean, it's quite, I mean, because Larry had said something earlier, we had a conversation about the project that we're currently working on in U-Visuals, and I ran it by him because I know that is his forte. When it comes to AI conversation, he's a top-notch guy in that area, and I was just so embarrassed by the samples of picture that he has sent to me that were generated by AI, and I'm like, oh my God, that we really need to readdress our approach and really look at how we can, better position ourselves and all that. Human-centric, where we are right now, and the level of what's it called, tools that we're still able to access. You would still see right now that when you create stuff with AI, there is still that artificial, I mean, as the name says, artificial intelligence, that artificial, not original feel that comes with it. All right. And I'm also speaking from my own perspective because a lot of time, when we also get brief, we try as much as possible not to even go to AI first. Like BJ said, we want to think like human being. We want to, one of the questions we ask our clients when we, you know, get any brief is, who are you creating this? In fact, why are you even creating a video? Because it's not about just, oh, let me do video because every other person is doing video. Oh, I want to make sales and all that. Why? All right. And then who? So by who, we have to now think and see how we can understand those people in terms of where are they, how do they think, what's their behavior, and every other thing that you can think of understanding, your target audience and all that. All right. Personally, I don't know what, again, Larry can come and attack me on this. I don't know if AI has that capacity to do that currently, understanding how human feels, how they emote, and all of that. All right. I'm still trying to figure my head around that possibility of machine understanding how I feel like and all that. It is possible. I mean, technology these days, you can't just undermine what they can do, right? But from my perspective as a visual storyteller, I'd rather just see AI as an enhancer of, yes, I'll play my part as human, think and create ideas and create concepts and all that. But when it's time for me to refine those ideas, I can just beckon on, hey, ChatGPT, what's up? This is what I have created. You know, um, can you help me check? Can you help me fact check and all of those things to see if we're making sense and all that. There's a whole lot of things that AI is currently doing that in the creative business is very often to shoot. Can you design like a concept or an idea on paper? If possible, write a script. I don't know how to write scripts and all of those things. My dear brother and my dear sister, there is a machine that has been trained on how to write a script. And what you just need to do is to write in that prompt. So I think that that's also one way in which you can see where I see it, because you can own your business and you want to create a video of yourself. And what you just need to have that understanding is, oh, I can go to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, I want to create like a short 5 seconds or 30 people I'm target concept, or even possible a script, and you will be shocked at what AI will do for you. Another angle is, as a visual storyteller, I get briefed to do TV commercials sometimes for target for our customers. And you know, after designing, there's something we call treatment, you know, and that's the treatment you share with your clients, more or less like, you know, present to them. If you don't even have, what you just need to do is just go to ChatGPT and write stuff, and then ChatGPT will bring you a TV commercial treatment. You know, that's the way I've seen that AI has really revolutionized that for how this technology can help them, can improve their work, can also maybe help them save money. All right, that's the way I think, you know, I look at it. So I don't see it as though it is a total replacement, because I feel that irrespective of the introduction of this AI thing, someone still needs to feed AI with information, with data. Who is feeding it? Is there another machine that's going to do that? It is human being, right? Larry had rightly said, Elon Musk talking about, oh, we've exhausted all data right now. Who is currently mining new data that, you know, AI can explore and all that. I think there's still a bit of that from the perspective of how can this enhance my work as a creative or as a brand owner who is trying to create you know, videos or pictures or any kind of content to promote your businesses. Yeah, I would like to stop here. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Tunde, and it's interesting for your brand. And like I always, the target audience, and now you have to tailor your messaging so that you don't end up giving it a generic. You don't end up sending like a generic messaging to target audience, and it doesn't resonate with them at the end of the day. So I'm going to move on to Mr. Balaji tonight, and I think my question is just around experience and connection. So in a digital first world, and how can brand use AI to track and enhance long-term impact on customers' loyalty?
All right. Thank you, Kudirat. So I think that's a very fantastic question, because at the end of the day, because we run like a 360 versions, I think that as human beings, and you can correct me on this call, is the fact that, you know, when I said it's about trends, at the time when COVID hit everyone, everybody decided to go all online and also make a lot of things digital. But have you noticed that there's a lot of oblate that people are going for now? People are now interested in going out. A lot of, you know, everybody's just finding a reason to go out. And if you recall, even last December, that was one of the highest dirty December turn up that we'd see. And even you can see how people came all over the world to just come to Nigeria to come and enjoy themselves. So for a fact, I think humans have been deprived of that physical touch experience. And right now, we are all going out to ensure that we get it back. However, there's also the part that AI will play for us. And that's why we have the likes of the VR, AR, engagement. So even, so one of our brands that we actually launched last year, towards the end of last year. So there was something we did. We were having a physical event, activating Ikeja Computer Village let me just put it out there, Sony. And what we did was the fact that we were launching a particular product in the market, telling people about the product, right? However, as people were coming to that particular activation, we actually had a few questions already on our tab where we were asking people, despite the fact that you have experienced this product, put in some of these things you have experienced, put your, like a survey. But guess what we're doing? We're taking those in the feedback of the customer immediately. And guess what? At the headquarters in Tokyo, where Sony headquarters is, they were seeing the responses. And guess what? They were using all those responses to curate the next new product. That's the power of physical and AI coming together. Because with all the experiences that they were seeing on ground at Ikeja Computer Village, they were using everything that has been enabled by AI on the tab that we're given by the client to get data that will help them to build the next Sony speaker that Nigerians will love. That is the power of AI. But guess what? You can't. I'm feeling the buzz of the speaker. You can't get that experience online. It has to be physical. Seeing the facial, how your face lit when there's a boom sound come up. That is the power of physical and also imagine it with AI-enabled digital assets. Another example I would give was Lucozade. So last year was Lucozade introduced a national promo. And what we did was supposed to be a normal promo. But with the use of a tool that we have with one of our partners, what we were doing was to, even across the nation, when we put out all these products out there, we were supposed to scratch and win. When people scratch and they win, you know what we do? We get to know where they scratch from, like the store, because everything has been automated. And guess what we do? Because somebody has won, we already know that there's a tendency for that person to preach the gospel around that look, said is having a promo. Even though it was a physical experience, but with the power of AI enabled tool, we're able to merge that insight and data, ensure that we put more chances of winning around that area. So as somebody, and as we spread the gospel, more people get to win in that area, and guess what? Sales increased just like that. So that's the power of merging physical and also digital with AI-enabled experiences to get results for brands. And to a large extent, I think that, I usually say one of the biggest brands that you ever see is Jesus Christ, right? Jesus preached the gospel physically to the world. There's nothing that can change physical experience. And eventually we'll have something we'll call digital. So, for those that are familiar with that word, it's just a merge of physical and digital and making sure that everything that we want to make happen faster and effectively. That would be my take on that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bolaji tonight. I'm really enjoying this conversation, and I guess everyone on this call too can also take one or two from this. So, talking about human truth and telling impactful human story, right? So my question to you, Jabala, is how do you recommend? A lot of people are here like, oh, okay, this is AI can do this, AI can do that. You can get enough of data from this and that. So how do you recommend companies gather authentic human truth from their users that can inform more compelling brand narrative? So I'm talking in terms of tech, all these tech companies and SaaS.
That's to Adebola, right?
Yes, Jabala. I want to know if she's still on the call. Yes, she is. Okay, I think I'll have to when she joins, I will ask her that question back. So okay, let me move on to Mr. Larry about data, getting data and how we can use data to as an enabler, right, to optimize our what's it called, our campaigns and stuff like that. So should brand be mindful mindful of when incorporating AI into their storytelling process? So because I know that some of these brands usually can manipulate truth because they have gotten some kind of data and stuff like that. So what ethical practice should brand incorporate when it comes to storytelling?
Yeah, thanks. And I think that that when we see AI for what it is or for what it can be, our perspective about it is going to change, right? Last month, the CEO of Microsoft claimed fire or the railway going to change our lives. It's going to power the global economy to grow at more than 10% year-on-year GDP growth. That's massive. There's no single technology that has grown our world, except maybe social media. Okay. Last month, I was checking the top 10 most valuable companies in the world, and 9 of them were linked to the internet. That's how you know something that is significantly disruptive. Okay. And just 10 years ago, things were different. The only company in the top 10 that wasn't an internet-based or internet-influenced business was Saudi Aramco, which is the oil and gas company. Okay. So coming back to your question is, if we know that AI is going to be that consequent, ethically manage this thing that can change our lives. We don't even know it yet. There's something called AGI. I'm going to ask people to please read about it. AGI is going to be so crazy that it's going to be a technology that is self-learning, self-thinking, self-regulating, self-assisting. Today, all the technology that we know is technology that we instruct. I mean, even my laptop now, it is only when I open my laptop or put it on that it comes on, right? And when I tell it to go off, it goes off. That's technology today. But imagine AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, a technology that is intelligent enough to be self-regulating. Machines are more intelligent than us. Who says that they can't decide that you should die? I'll give you a powerful story. This story, I heard about it in 2023. It was a company that did their year appraisal, end of year appraisal with AI. So AI collected all the data and rated people according to their performance. So there were people at the top who were good enough to be promoted. There were people just below them who were good enough to be rewarded but not promoted. There were people improvement, PIP, and there were people below those. It's 5 categories that were recommended for being sacked. So after that analysis was done, there was a woman in that category of people that were recommended to be sacked. And then when they went to present this, the HR recommended that the woman should not be sacked. Because guess what? The woman had lost her husband, I think the year before. She had been in this tragedy, inconsolable for so long. And she had just been back to the office, picking back her life. The truth is, AI didn't know that this woman died, that this woman's husband died. AI didn't know how this woman has recovered from the tragedy or not. AI doesn't even know how the woman is struggling now to raise her kids, manage her life in the absence of the partner who she imagined was going to live with her forever. So AI, as at then, didn't have all this context. And so the question is, how do you use AI ethically so that it doesn't compromise the whole fund about big Africa? We are primarily consumers of it. Okay, we don't know a lot of it, and the drama not a creator in the AI journey and you get many people to understand this AI game and how they need to get involved. Because if you are not there, you cannot complain that you are not represented if you are not there. So we need to get many people included. The second thing I'll talk about quickly is bias, and we need to speak out against it. I know many people get all revolutionary. They become rebellious. Speaks to the West. It doesn't capture us. But like I said, we are consumers. We don't create. And so when the West create technology to favor them, we get angry, but what can you do? What we need to do is to speak out so that we can reduce, I mean, we cannot eliminate bias because bias is intrinsic is in the intrinsic nature of human beings, but it's to get people to understand that when we talk about AI, we need to contextualize it. Okay, that is number two. The third one, which is maybe crazy, is what I call data privacy. Right today, one of the biggest sacrifices everybody is making is on the IP stage. You create a content today, you put it online, or you put it in ChatGPT. ChatGPT will use your content to retrain itself and will recreate your content to 1,000 other person. Okay, ChatGPT is not going to pay you. As a matter of fact, there's been a case in the federal court in the US by the New York Times and others, a class action case in the US, saying that the foundational data point used to train ChatGPT was by different journalists and correspondents of New York Times, and that ChatGPT should be paying them for their intellectual property. But today, intellectual property is being sacrificed. Okay, I mean, if you create any content today and it's online, ChatGPT will pick it and use it to create other content. The fourth one is what I'll call cyber risk. Okay, because AI will typically work over the internet and consume other technology, there are potential risk of those platforms becoming vulnerable and bad actors taking advantage of it to hurt people. And so we need to continually keep ourselves honest. The good thing about AI is that whilst bad actors, I mean, I tell people that just look at us, we're sitting down here and talking about this thing. It's very likely that there's some bad actors on this call. They're listening to us, right? And bad actors too, they're having their conferences like this. They just don't announce it. They're saying, guys, AI is out. Oh, what do we need to do to break it down? What do we need to do this and do that? And so there are some vulnerabilities there, but the good side is that AI can help to keep us honest. It can help us to build up what's it called, resistance walls against the potential of bad actors taking over. And then last one really is that I would say uh, um, we need to get involved in some of its creation. What do I mean by that? Uh, 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 the good side of Africa, I mean, that's either we're all educated and skilled, but that's beside the point. The real point is that we have a world of young people who can do stuff. And I would think that the only way to combat many of the things that I've talked about from an ethical perspective is that we should get involved. If you claim that, for example, when you talk about exclusion, for example, one exclusion is men and women, right? Is a gender issue. Another exclusion is a race issue, black and white. Another exclusion is an ability issue. I mean, there are many buildings in Nigeria that people with physical disabilities cannot enter. Okay, there are many things that people with what's it called, sight issues cannot. So we should get more people included in it so that it becomes a technology that is not just ChatGPT that everybody thinks, but it's a platform and technology that everybody can use to improve their lives. I'm going to end there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Larry. Please, if you have any question, kindly drop them in the chat box so that we can address it because we have time limitations and this call is going to end in next 10, 11 minutes. So, Adebola, please confirm.
Yeah, can hear you.
Hi, Adebola, please confirm. Yes, thank you very much. So, please, in 2 to 3 minutes, I have a question for you, and you can briefly just brush through it for us. How do you recommend companies gather authentic human truth from their users that can inform more compelling brand narrative? I mean, we have talked about impactful storytelling. So, how can we gather authentic human truth?
Can you repeat the question? The way
Nice.
you said it is
I was just
complex.
going to
How do you?
say your questions are they're serious, man.
I'm so sorry. So, I said, how do you recommend companies gather
I can't hear you again.
narrative?
What's happening? I didn't hear you.
How do you recommend companies gather authentic human truths from their users that can inform more compelling brand narrative? I mean, we have talked about brand using instead of going through human connection or telling their human impact story, they're always focused on benefits and features. So, how do you recommend that they gather human authentic truth to tell their story or to tell a compelling brand narrative? Probably when she's able to join us back. So, Mr. Balaji, so I'm going to move on to you so that we can wrap this up. Please, if you have any question, kindly drop them in chat box so that we can talk
Did you guys
about
hear
this.
me?
So,
Oh, okay.
yes. Oh, thank God, you're back now. Yes, we can hear
I
you now.
really don't know what is happening. But you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
So I was saying that be an advocate for speaking to your customers. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of brands don't do that. And a lot of founders who don't do that. Imagine there are few people building stuff this place. You know, companies are in the clouds when they come to their product. Every founder, everybody thinks they're building something phenomenal, something really great, something creative. I feel like they are lost in the high of all of these things, and they forget that the end user is still as important as anything. So if you want to know the truth of how your customers or users use your products and enjoy the experience and true stories, you need to talk to customers. You need to have a customer conversation pipeline. You need to decide how often it happens, the quality of conversations, how to have these conversations. You need to have training, and it needs to be everybody's business, right? It needs to be everybody. It can't be the business of customer experience alone. Because if you call me, for example, and what's it called? I'm a user, and you call me, I'm Kineko Kineko, I'm a customer on something from social company, from Zoom, for example. I- I'm just going to complain, right, about everything that has happened wrongly in your product for the past 1 month or so. AI is started making a lot of tools to do that, to collect real-time information from your customers, as well about your products. There are in-app tools to do that. There are websites to do that. So on the website, app on in-app as well. I get emails from different companies saying, "Oh, how was the experience using?" All I have to do is an interactive email. All I have to do is pick the data from inside the email. I'm not leaving the email to go and fill it from. There are lots of tools that have made this very available. You can even ask the customers how best they would like to speak with you. Some customers prefer to use WhatsApp. There are tools for that, for you to chat with your customers on a large scale, right? Some people use forums. They have forums for their customers and their companies where customers are just talking about their experience, or we would like to see this feature, or we would like to see this improvement. A lot of companies do that. Canva just did a major thing recently, and that's how they started their event. Feedback from what their customers have told them in that forum that they used to collect data on the things they want to see, on the product, and how they want to see the product involved. So you can automate it. Maybe every quarter you will send out email, send out whatever, send out calls, SMS, um, interactive email, whatever it is you want to use, depending on the genre, depending on the field, depending on the type of product, depending on your service and offering, you can create a schedule that will can speak to our customers. So when you really need them to now give you true story, it's easier. Imagine a company that I've never heard from before. Even though I've been using them for a month or a year, just reach out to me that they want to tell my story of how the product has positively impacted my life. Even if it has, I don't know you from Madam. I'm not going to come to you and sit down, and now be saying, "Oh, this your product has helped my life." But if there's a conversation like what's it called, like an open loop, where you've talked to me before, you sent me an email on my birthday before something, I will take a minute and speak with you. So I feel like those are like the most important thing. Always have a customer conversation pipeline. Talk to these people. They are the people paying your bills. If nobody is your product or your
Yeah.
features anymore, you have broke customers on segments. If you say you have active users, people that downloaded your app last 3 months and are not using it, those are not your active users. Those are people that downloaded your app 3 months ago. You need to have definition for the different segments. And those things are data driven. And then make sure that you have a conversation pipeline. How often do we speak to our active users? What do we speak to them about? When do we speak to them when we are thinking of bringing a new feature? How do we introduce it? How do we get the founders to the CEOs to the marketing team to the sales guy? Because those are the people that really take customers consistently. To the customer support experience to the customers, it's not about the tax matter. Yeah, I think that those are like the most um very, very cost effective. It's not going to cost you so much. Just
Much
using
Adibola. That was
on
very
a
insightful. Really wanted to because there's a lot to learn. However, we are limited by time, and if anyone wants to continue this conversation, please ask your question. They will always like answer you. So I'm going to leave the vote of thanks to Mr. Sunday. I can't see any questions on the chat, but that means there is no question from anyone. But you can always reach out to the speaker to ask your question based off on the questions that we're
Marat, I think that I can just do this in 1 minute. I want to first say a huge thank you to all of the speakers we have here today, including Mr. Bolaji, Mr. Larry Basamta, and of course, Ms. Adibola Williams. We really appreciate your time and how we can use AI to, better tell our stories as businesses and also maybe creative and in general. And I also want to appreciate everyone who joined in this conversation. And I want to say to every one of you, let's not be sitting on the back seat when it comes to technology, right? It is very important for us to always know and keep ourselves abreast of new technology tools that are being introduced into the market for us to use it to better our businesses and even better our lives. Because if you look at it, it's not just about your business alone, it's also about your life as well, right? Yeah, so let's try as much as possible to take out all of those learnings and use them in our daily lives. Thank you for joining in. I'm sure that our team would possibly bring in more conversation like this in the nearest future. And please try as much as possible to join in and be part of it. Thank you, and thanks for coming. Thank you, Kudirat.
Thank you.
So Kudirat, you're talking, but we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. So thank you, everyone. Program. So please look out for your email. We'll be sending it in the next 2 or 3 days. So thank you, everyone, for joining. Please have a nice day. I can see some questions already coming in, but we're already late into the call. But you can always follow us online. You can also connect with the speakers online and ask your question. They'll always answer you in their chats. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Larry, Mr. Bolaji, Mr. Adipola. Thank you, Mr. Sunday.